Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive. It's carnival time. So we have started this series with carnival series, and we had Frank Martino really telling us all about the start, how this spectacular started. And then we move on to me starring with Richard Young. So you could go in your cupboard now and see what you could put on to go to those same calypso shows and to party. Right?
Jennifer is having such a good time, she's not even bothering to introduce herself. So that was Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, and I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite. And we are, listen, we're in the middle of carnival, so it's quite acceptable. It is quite acceptable.
50 plus 5.8G Alive.
Jennifer, that was a lot of fun last week with Richard. How was that experience, getting your wardrobe redone?
It was stepping out of my comfort zone. Let me tell you why, folks. Because when I discussed with Terry and I found the idea was a great idea. And of course, she said, well, you do it. And I said, sure, it's not a big thing. So my plan really was for Richard to come, check some outfits, put it out, just hang it up and show you how you could, combine and dress it up. On the hangers, not on me. And then when he came, he said, no, this have to be authentic. This have to be real. He did not even know what was in my cupboard. So he said, this have to be real from start to finish. I will look at your cupboard, pull out this stuff, and you have to wear it. And Terry-Ann say, what? Because that's a whole different thing now. That means I have to model.
In this partnership, Jennifer is the ideas person, and she has beautiful ideas. But in terms of making it happen, I said to her, Jennifer, that's a very complicated program. So you handle it. I will just watch on. It was great. It was great. It was great.
We have the videographer, we have Zara there, and both of them watching me and say, look, you're not going to waste our time, because if you think we come here to just put something on a hanger and take photos of, and no way, no way. So it was beautiful. It was a lot of fun. The feedback was really, I was just laughing, I get calls from friends saying, I'm coming to borrow so-and-so, I like this dress. But you have so much things in your cupboard, It was really, really lovely. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I would say step out of my comfort zone. I like to dress and go out, but that's a different thing from dressing and modeling.
I think, Jennifer, you're being a little coy, and I don't want people to think, as you use the term step out of your comfort zone, that doing something like that is a difficult process, because not many people like stepping out of their comfort zones. I think what Richard does is help us to be aware of how much more we have and how versatile what we have is. And that is outside of the norm, So I don't want anybody to think this is something that puts a challenge on that.
What it definitely is, embrace who you are, embrace your style. Sometimes we're not even aware that we might buy things and say like that, but somehow it's not registering.
Yeah.
And to just accept, as you say, this is your body, this is what you like. and you put it on and you feel good about yourself. So it really, I would say, for me, I mean, not that I was feeling any badly about who I am, but it just helped to me. It emphasized that, you know,
Yeah.
my that way,
Yeah.
and who I am,
And I think
and that's
And I think that is something that all of us at this age, we need to do because many of us have not transitioned from that. And you said it, Jennifer. We have taken our second act persona and we are continuing it with it into the third act. And a lot of us are uncomfortable in our skins because we know this is not how I want to dress. This is not how I want to look. I want to be something else, and we've not found out what it is. And I think that whole exercise with having someone come and look at your wardrobe, hear about your lifestyle, hear about what you like to do, and then adjusting the same old pieces to fit what you want to do, puts a whole new light on your life and what you want to go and do and have fun while you're doing it. So I think that's the main thing.
so I'm going out this weekend, Terry, and I'm going to Carnival brunch Sunday, and I have my outfit.
Very good.
It's looking good. I know I will feel very happy just dressing up and stepping out.
Excellent. So Jennifer, this week we go in from wardrobe and we focusing on body. Yeah?
Yes, movement, how we could not just as you mentioned before, is one thing now to have the outfit and where you're going. And when time come, you're too tired, you don't have the energy. Or when you do reach, you got to sit down right through.
I can't
People
stand up for
getting
2 hours. Yeah.
you can't do anything. So it's very important for us to stay very active
Yeah.
and to be fit,
Yeah.
really fit.
And even if it's not stay active, we can't lose functional. We can't lose our muscles ability. Because sometimes you say stay active and people take out to go and run up and down. But sometimes if we just, look up the word sarcopenia, it's the death of us. And we really have to guard against that. So we have a special guest today, Jennifer.
So we've made sure that we have this special guest coming into you, Cindy Mussio. And Cindy has her own fitness studio, and and by the way, that is Tarian's personal coach, fitness coach. So you all have a lot to look forward to.
So fancy.
Tarian really at her best. That's with you. So it's great information to help us stay active and to help us not lose muscle but build muscle and to strengthen us.
Stay alive. Stay active and stay alive. So let's
special interview.
Good. Let's go in tune. Okay, everybody. So we are here. As we said, we continue in the Carnival series, and we deal after Jennifer pretty up herself last week and all that with designer. We back into.
I just have to go back and see it. I'm so proud that I stepped out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. We want to go this week and we want to talk about our bodies. And I am very, very happy that we have with us Cindy Mussio. And Cindy is into something we call functional training. And I'll declare my caveat, this is my trainer. So we have a nice relationship going on. But Cindy, I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation, especially for our 50 plus cohort. And I'd like to start really introduce yourself to our audience and help us to understand this term functional training. We're not exercising, we're doing functional training. Who is Cindy and Mussio's pattern training? What's going on there?
Right, so I'm Cindy Mussio. Nice to meet you all. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Yes, so functional training and Cindy Mussio. Over the years, actually, my own physical issues started when I had my kids. My kids are now 18 and 13. And I found that after having my children, I had a lot of hip issues. I could not walk properly. I was in a lot of pain. My daughter was 2. That's my last child, was 2 years old. And I was still walking as though I was pregnant, and so much discomfort. And I got tired of it. And everything I was doing at that point in time was not working for me. I was trying everything. I was trying the green coffee, the apple cider vinegar. I was training really hard, doing different things. And it's like I got to a point of like hopelessness. And I felt hopeless. And I felt as though, the avenues I was reaching out was not working for me. And I had gotten to the point where I said to myself, you know what? I think I need to do this for myself, and that is when my studies started. I was like, I put my trust in different avenues, take advice from different people. It just was not working for me, and I decided to go into this whole realm. I never thought I would have been a fitness coach. It was not my intention. It was not my goal to be a fitness coach. And it really, I just followed this path that I was on, and I started to educate myself about it. And as time go along, and I started to heal myself, the more that I learned is the more that I wanted to know. The more that I healed is the stronger my desire to help people overcome their discomfort and pain became stronger. And there was just this thirst for knowledge to just continue. So I just decided to just go, I just went with the flow. I decided to go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And when I started to understand the body mechanics and my body and the different types of training systems and what was working for me, and it wasn't just what was working for me, but how I became in touch with myself and how I was able to relate to people. After my first set of certifications and stuff, I started teaching in the gyms and meeting different people, at every class, and people coming asking questions, how do I do this? Oh, my hips are hurting, my knees are hurting. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is what you could do, and this is how you can fix it.
Cindy, what is the certification that you pursue? What are some of these?
Right. So I did a variety of certifications. I have a few. And the first one, when I started training, I loved spin. And I used to ride a lot. And I'm a soca child. So from the time soca come on and I'm on a bike, I like in a party. So I was like, you know what? I really love spin. And you know what? I want to teach spin. So I went ahead, got my certification in spin, and I started teaching in the gyms. And that is where I started to meet a lot of different people with different issues. And, as the instructor, they will come to you and, they would, they explain certain things that's going on to them, whether it be postpartum, different issues that they may have. And that is when I was like, you know what? I need to help these people, And after my spin certification, I was introduced to TRX functional training. And I started to do it at the facility I was at. And it was not enough for me. Yes, I started to feel better. I got stronger. My pain started to go away. But it was the same thing over and over. And I was telling
Just
myself,
for people to know, TRX is where you're hanging on some strings.
right. Well, I wouldn't call it strings, but it's total resistance exercises. And TRX bands are actually apparatus that helps you. Now, the thing about it is, functional training, you don't need any apparatus. But the beautiful thing about TRX is that it is a piece of apparatus that helps you gain your strength. For example, if you're unable to do a squat on your own, you could hold on to these bands and it will assist you with the squat. So it offers a lot of assistance in helping you strengthen your muscles and your joints until you are able to do it freely. Yeah. So this is what's really phenomenal about this system. So it's like when I realized what it can do for you, I was like, listen, no, I need to know more. There has to be more to this. And I looked up TRX. I was like, where are you having these courses? I went to Manhattan. And I went to the TRX in Manhattan and I did my first certification as TRX sports medicine. And I also learned that the same system, even though it can strengthen your muscles, your joints, it helps with mobility, it helps with flexibility. It also, you can use the system to rehabilitate. So it's not just a matter of, I'm in pain, I can't squat, I can't do a plank. This system will give you assistance. It will help you get to that point. And I did my TRX sports medicine certification. As soon as I was finished, it was not enough. I went into fitness and nutrition, a very extensive course that took me into more the medical side of it and the more, body mechanics and understanding how your body works. It took me into that. And after that, I just could not stop there. Having a certification is just the basics. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and that is just a basis, a base for you. What you do with it will determine how strong you are as, an individual, as a trainer, as somebody who can impart knowledge and educate people. It doesn't stop there. My work entails a lot of research. I have to do a lot of research. I have to find out, how do I help people? It's not a one size fit all. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique. Everybody have different issues. It's my job to find out, how do I help this person? What is the variation if they cannot do something? How do I help them get to that point?
Yeah.
So that is how it has been over the years.
Must jump in here.
Yes.
First of all, welcome again. And listening to you, you are so passionate about it. And in this short space of time, you have me very excited. I mean, Terry-Ann talk about you a lot. But, I just talk and Terry-Ann and doing her exercises. I said, good for her. But listening to you and your passion and how, you like something, you went for it, you educate yourself. And you see that last part you said, how everybody different. And you may have to customize and you don't have to do all the things. I love that. Because I love to exercise. I like movement. I don't know about the exercise or something. I love movement. I like to walk. I like to do all different things. Of course, in my younger days, I did the normal, you go to the gym and you're jumping up and down and all. I never liked that. The aerobics part?
Yes.
I didn't like that. And I found most of the time in the gym, like that is a must. All right. So hearing you talk, of course, at this stage, what I enjoy doing most is walking.
Right.
I tried this swimming. I try different things. And now at my stage, actually, this Thursday, this week, I'm starting my first class with the dancing for dance for retirees.
Very nice.
And I'm doing that because, when I went to check it out, and then the teacher was saying, hey, yes, we're teaching dance, but that doesn't mean you must put your foot high and your hand. You you do what you could do. So I love when you speak about customizing that. And right now in my situation, and I shared very openly on our program that I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Of course, our physicians, the doctors, the different, oncologists, etc., will tell you you must exercise, you have to eat. I mean, they're not nutritionists, etc., but they're doctors and they know basically what is required. So they say, okay, you must eat properly, eat healthy, stay off for the alcohol, etc. Um, keep fit, things like that. Keep your mind focused, all these things, but not drilling down, which is from what I'm hearing you when you speak, that this is what you're doing. Someone come to you, like I would come to you because I'm coming to you now. I would want someone to tell me, okay, or not just understand first. And that's when I hear you said you did the training to understand the body, and that last certification you did included, helping you in terms of different type of illnesses, how to deal with clients with different type of illnesses. And this is what I like, because I want to know. Actually, this morning I went walking. I forgot to ask the doctor, and I don't know if I would have gotten the right answer. I'm not sure if to raise my hand too high, if to swing it. Normally you're walking, they say you walk brisk walking. I'm not sure if I was swinging my hand too much. Prior to the surgery, I did a bit of weight. It's not heavy, my own thing. Nobody telling me what to lift. But I really would love to understand more my body, this new body I have. Let me put it the new body. I don't want to say the old body, but the new body I have. What to do, what's the best way in terms of the type of movement to help me remain healthy and to really be ready for all the different types of treatments that I have to do. Yeah.
Right. So as I explained, it's not a one size fit all. So based on, what each individual issue is. Now, I believe in education, and I teach my people, with regards to nutrition. I do not like the word diet, so I do not put any of my clients on a diet, but I will teach you how to eat your food. I will teach you how to use your food, right? So the more you know is the better. It's easier for longevity, and it's easier to maintain, because it's a lifestyle that we're looking at. We're not looking for a quick fix.
Yes.
In terms of the physical side of it, you need to be in tune with your body. You need to understand you. A lot of times I find that people underestimate themselves. They're quick to say that, I can't do this, so I'm incapable of this. So, they truly underestimate themselves, and I prove them wrong every single time. It's like, I am seeing your capabilities. You can't do this. I can't do this. I will show you. Just follow my instructions. I'm also an advocate for things that you like, including the way you eat, of course, in moderation and healthily. So I am always an advocate. Exercise training should not be a chore. It should not be a burden. It should not be something like, oh God, I really have to do this morning. No. It has to be something that you enjoy doing. You also need to know what your physical capabilities are, and you also need to not baby yourself when you do have a physical challenge. And that's what a lot of people tend to do. It's like, this shoulder hurts and I can't lift it. It's like, listen, we'll work on that, and it's your mind that's restricting yourself. It's like most times you see it's like your body is willing, but your mind isn't, And one of the questions actually someone asked me just recently is like, have you ever dealt with a condition or a case like this? And I told the individual, I said, the condition is not the issue, that's not the challenge. The challenge is this.
Yeah, I agree.
The challenge is that person's perspective, their mental state of mind is what the challenge is. Once you have it here, the body will follow, but as I tell everyone, you have to want it for it to happen. I can help you, I can give you the tools, but you also need to want it.
Cindy, can I ask a question to delve deeper? And I say this from my experience with fitness over the years and also with you. And it is really how important are our muscles, their strength and their ability to carry us, to hold us, to stretch. How important are our muscles to our being alive? I think a lot of people don't make that connection, and that's why we are afraid to work muscles. And when we don't work muscles, we don't realize we can be causing our premature death. Let me be as blunt as that. Am I correct?
Right. That last statement you made is correct. And I think it's just a case of, if it's in broke, why fix it? No, nobody. If you're not in pain, you're not gonna, look to do something. You're not gonna go to the doctor if nothing, if everything's working fine. That is just how we are as people. I mean, I am also guilty of that, but it is important. It is important. And, it's unfortunate that it's only when we get to that stage in our lives that, some people take it seriously, some people don't, some people just, shut down and they're like, you know what, this is it. Adrian, I can't do this anymore. And that is it. They just give up. And some people just get like a renewed feeling, like a totally different drive. It's like, nah, I now start to live, I don't want to continue down this road. I want to be how I used to be in my youth. Well, actually, with that being said, I find that my over 50 are actually fitter than my under 50.
Why is that? Why do you think that?
I don't know. I ask everybody, it's like, but why? It's like, all my over 50, you all are phenomenal. It's like sometimes you all come out from being totally sedentary to being this phenomenal, piece of art. It's amazing.
I could see that because at this stage, 50 plus, you want to remain, keep as much as your youth as possible. You're fighting the aging process, so you want to make sure you remain active all the time. You're really more conscious of your health, what you eat, etc. So I think 50 plus, health becomes top priority. Because you want to say, you know what, I have to remain healthy. I don't want, as I age, to get ill, and to fall apart. I want to remain very, as you say, functional and remain relevant. So I have to keep myself looking good and feeling good. Whereas I believe those under 50 feel, I'm young, I don't have to worry about that at this stage. I would exercise when I feel, because maybe they don't have to deal with the excess fat or the excess baggage that they carry. So I believe I can see your point there, where they're more enthusiastic than the younger ones.
Yeah.
But sometimes, and I want to take it at another level, and I think many of us probably miss an important part of keeping your body functional by making a comparison to youth and not looking at what a prematurely aged body cannot do. And I always share the story with Cindy of being at a mechanic one day, and an older gentleman had to go under the front of my car to just check a light. And he was dripping buckets just getting down, and he took about 10 minutes to get back up. how many of us have the core strength, the back strength, the leg strength, the arm strength to pick ourselves up? And Cindy, you could probably talk about what you see, because when you look at problems with the elderly, the fact that you can't get up after a fall is what causes many people to sit in a house alone and dehydrate and all kinds of things. So there is the part of stay youthful, but to be a strong, flexible elder person is something that could add years to your life. Is that something that you find people are aware of?
Your mind telling you you could do it, but your body telling
Your body
you
ain't
something
able. Yes. Yes.
I believe that is a personal choice. It's something that I would love to see. I love to see an older person, walking and, doing their little trip, being functional. It's really important. And there's something I call prehabilitation. And it's like, prehabilitation is like that's the stage before you get to rehabilitate,
Or you can prevent rehabilitation.
Well, exactly, well, exactly, so it's like, to getting off your bed, and it's like simple things. Functional training mimics your day-to-day activities and the things that we do on a daily basis. You're climbing upstairs, you're making up your bed, you're brushing your teeth, you're feeding yourself. You want to be able to do these things as you get older. You want to be able to get to stand up, sit down, or when you're trying to put on your pants and you have to lean up on the wall, or you have to sit down on a chair and get one-legged.
Underwear, Cindy, underwear.
Underwear. I didn't want to say underwear.
Underwear, the panties.
I didn't want to say underwear.
Yes. You can't put on a panty or jockey shorts unless you sit down. Yes, that.
Well, yes, that. Thank you for, being a little more elaborate.
It's true. Long time you do it standing up, now you have to hold on or sit down.
Hold on,
you're falling over on your face.
Or you're trying to tie your shoe and then you're out of breath. You can't catch yourself after. So we don't want to be like that. So it is important. And the thing is, you would hear people say that, but I busy all day. I doing this and I doing that. No, there is something called a plateau, which means that that's when your body gets accustomed to everything that you're doing. Everybody has a pattern. And that pattern, that routine that you have every day, you're accustomed to it. So if you're accustomed, making up your bed, mopping and sweeping out the whole house, going up 20 flights of stairs every day, and in your mind, I'm real active, I always doing this all the time. Well, you're not taking your body out of that comfort zone. It's not no challenge for your cardio, for your muscles, for your joints. You need to get past that comfort. You need to come out of that comfort zone and really give your body, a challenge. And that's how you get stronger.
Yeah. I know I started with Cindy, and getting up off the ground was 2 rolls. And I put up the leg.
You're not alone. And I'm not referring to me, but
it was drama.
They all start like that.
And you have to, no, but I want everybody now, get on the ground, lie down flat, and say how many rolls and turns, and how many positions to the hand and the knees, and how many roll-ups to roll up, because that is a real indicator of your muscles' ability to work with your bones to help you to move from one place to the other, and it's linked to your heart, your lungs,
right,
everything.
as simple, and something, a simple movement like that, to just get down on the floor and get back up, is the most challenging challenging movement I have seen in every single client that I have had. Is the most intense piece of exercise you can give to them. Go down on the mat and come back up. And that is something, is movements like that that recruits every muscle in your body. You know, all the accessory muscles you didn't even know you had that existed. You recruit those muscles, and that is what we need to do more of. You know,
So
not
you'd
being
like to go back. I would like to just go to something you said earlier in terms of you doing your routine. You know, you're making up the bed, you're doing certain things. And I just want to ask you this because for me, I feel I will move up and down. You know, it's nothing for me. You know, I say, well, let me go. If I have to go to in the fridge 10 times to take out water, I will do it because I feel to me that is some form of movement. Yeah, it's a small space. So I feel like I have to make plenty trips within the space for exercise. But you said something that I wonder about that it means that you're not stretching yourself, you're not extending. But sometimes you feel like you tend to say, well, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to do too much because it means you may strain a muscle, etc. How do you know? How would you know that you're not pushing yourself too much? You're not. I don't want to feel like I know it's long ago in the gym and say you have to feel the burn. I don't want to feel no burn. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. How would I know if I have to make that extra rounds when I'm walking or when I'm sitting, if I should maybe try to, move a little more, etc. How
Get
would
up
I
without
know?
holding on to the arm of the chair. Get up without holding.
Yeah, but the fear then it's like you're gonna fall down or you fall back. That's why you're holding on.
Fall back in
So
the
so
chair, you're
how do
safe.
you know? How do you that going down on the ground? If I have to look for something, I'm telling you, I hold on, I sit down, I bend, I look, pick up whatever, and it's the same movement back up. Hold
right.
on again, sit on the chair, and then stand up because I am fearful that I may fall.
Okay, so there are various types of exercises that would help with those movements and that will help strengthen up your legs. And of course, these exercises and this functional training would also help you it would also help improve your form. Now, we all have bad habits in bending over, the way we pick up things, correct. And that in itself leads or can lead to injury. Also, limitations. When you limit yourself and limit movements, you also increase the risk of injury because you're not challenging your body.
Yes, okay.
Right? So, yes, so that just goes back to getting out of your comfort zone. You can't overextend yourself if you were like already not doing it. You have to get your body past that limitation that you are constantly nurturing. It's
Okay.
like, I'm not going to extend my hand wider than the fridge door could open. That is not, So you do need to extend wider than that fridge door. So we are our own limitations. And the more limited you encourage your body to be, is the higher risk of injury, you're susceptible to.
Okay.
Yeah. I make a comparison to, Jennifer, we have our children. You have grandchildren. And they're reading or they're doing exercises. And they're comfortable doing 5 sums or 6 sentences. We tell them you will do 10 sums or 8 sentences. Nothing happens to them, but they build capacity. Now, I won't tell them do 500 sums. And I could give from my own, I could give a story of working with Cindy in that, yes, I'm pretty comfortable with physical exercise and things like that. But on the TRX, Cindy would, and this is suspension. I think you need to describe what these things are. We have a little video showing, you have two sets of straps. Your hands are in one and your feet are in one. You're off the ground. You're in a plank or
You're
you're
levitated, yes.
either the hands on the ground and the feet in the air, or the feet on the ground and the hands in the air, or stuff like that. And Cindy determines one day that you are not challenging yourself. But after every session, I am puffing and panting and carrying on. She says you are not challenging yourself. So you will put your hands and feet in and stretch yourself out like you're on a table. And I'm like, what's wrong with this lady? She mad or what? And I did it with no real, and I think we have a video of it. We can use the video where I didn't realize my muscles had the capacity to do that. Now I think because I did that day, she graduated me to some level. but the fear is real. And Cindy, that brings me to the point of people would walk regularly, but don't add to it. They would go to the gym and do a routine, and they as Jennifer said, you don't know you've reached your capacity. And I think people have a lot of horror stories with gyms where people seek to put the heaviest thing and all that kind of stuff. But we've got to, how do we know that we have more capacity, that we can take ourselves to a higher level and our muscles will not fail us? Do we have to have a coach, or is that something that we can do for ourselves?
It is something you don't necessarily have to have a coach, but with not having a coach, are you disciplined enough to take yourself past that comfort zone?
Not me.
That is the question. So it's not to say that, a coach is necessary. It really isn't. Only if you have that discipline, because I know there are people who are disciplined enough to challenge themselves, to have a routine, to keep themselves, physically fit, physically mobile, but not everyone is like that. If you think that you need the help and the assistance, having a coach, a certified coach, is actually really good. And it's good in terms of you will have some sort of structure. So when you start underestimating yourself, you have somebody, and I'll give you an example. For instance, you on your own, you will tell yourself, okay, you know what? I'm going to do a plank today. And then you get on the floor and you realize that you can't lift yourself up. And it's like, but how people do this? This is so difficult. This is not for me. And this is what you will tell yourself. A coach, on the other hand, will see, okay, you can't do a plank. You're not strong enough yet. This is what we're going to do to get you there, right? So we're going to start working backwards. So this is how a coach will be beneficial to you. They will help you progress. They would identify where your strengths, your weaknesses are, and exactly what you need to work on. They would also push you past, your limits, your capacity.
Yeah. Cindy, Jennifer, you had a question? Because I was going to ask about another area.
I'm telling you, Cindy have me very excited now. My brain clicking. So Cindy, this is just on a slanty a different slant here. I am listening and I'm saying, okay, I really like this. I know no way I'm going to try anything that Terry I'm doing, because everybody's different and nothing you do will motivate me to get up and stretch like that. However, I definitely see the benefit of having a coach, because without a coach, it's easy for you to say, see that? I ain't doing that. As you said before, my hand, my foot, all parts of me hurting me. And you make your excuse. A lot of times it's excuses why we don't push ourselves. But Cindy, for persons who, and this is what I'm thinking here, there's a selfish question. Persons like me who say, you know what, I can't reach by Cindy, I want guidance. We could discuss, and they have a lot of online training, online coaching. Do you do that? Do you have or have thought of having, and we're dealing with let me say, the seniors, the 50 plus, who may not be able to reach to your gym and would like
It's
you
not a
to,
gym.
huh?
It's not
It's
a
a
gym.
studio.
Don't call it a gym. It's not a gym.
Yeah, and the studio is much better because gym sounding like, oh God, boy, I have to go and run.
It's a personal training studio where you have your own space.
Right. Have you considered, or do you actually now do any online type of personal training?
I do. The facility is available for anyone who is interested.
Okay.
Yeah. And Cindy, let me ask this question before we get there. I know you train and work with a broad range of people, and you have a lot of 50 plus people in our cohort. What are the issues that you see, those 50 plus persons, and I know one of your clients was 97. Okay, so let's realize what we're dealing with here. We could decide to sit down and let sarcopenia take us to real immobility and paralysis, but we can be proactive about it. When people come to you, what are the kinds of things that they present? Because sometimes I think we ourselves who are looking on at this don't even realize that we are on this downward slope of immobility.
Okay, some of the the cases the conditions that I deal with, or I would find, is that the 50 and over, it usually goes like this, right? It's like hips, knees, shoulders. But hips is like the first one. And then knees and shoulders kind of up there, more knees than shoulders, you know. Those are the issues. Some clients have been diagnosed while with me, like with the rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis, you know. Usually those are the types of conditions. I mean, then you have the little sciatica and the little, how to put it, the little knee discomfort, that type of thing, you know. Functional training, what I love about it is that it meets you where you are. Functional training is so versatile that if you're on a wheelchair, if you're on a bed, even if you're active, if you're sedentary, it meets you where you are. It will come to you. It will rehabilitate you. It will make you stronger. It will work on your balance, on your mobility, on your flexibility. Functional training is just so phenomenal. It is my focus and my number one passion because of what it does. And it doesn't matter where you are in your fitness, even if you're just sedentary and you have never been active, it will pick you up from where you are.
Yeah. I love that. I just find that is fantastic because, again, as Terry and say, many of us may be watching on, especially our age group, a little later on. And I tell people now, I could say more in the 70s, you know, in the 50s, if I go, okay, move more, or you're more excited, 60s. But somehow as you get older, you feel like you can't do anything again. That is not for me. Many people still think, and as I mentioned Jim just now, when you think of exercise from our era, you're thinking of the gym and you're just jumping and doing all the things, and you tell yourself, you know what, I passed that stage, so I'm not doing anything. So it's really good to hear you say it meets you at you are, so you have no excuse. You shouldn't have any excuse.
Jennifer, it can be intimidating. It can be very intimidating, especially for the older folks. You know, but you don't need any equipment. You don't need any sort of apparatus. There are apparatus that will give you assistance if need be. But, you know, it's things that you can do on a chair, on a bed, on a mat, wherever you could physically get to. It's so versatile that there is something that will help you.
So it means that anyone comes in, and you had said it, Terry, and that you felt so comfortable, you know, when you started.
Yes. As Cindy was saying, it's like being at the hairdresser.
Well, it's like I'm just like, you need to have that mesh, that connection, that relationship like you would have like with your hairdresser, your doctor, your dentist. You need to be comfortable, you know.
Yes.
The personalities have to mesh. We need to be able to work with each other. I need to be able to understand you, understand me. It's a little relationship that, that you have to, once you're comfortable,
Mhm.
it could turn out to be like a match made in heaven, you know.
Okay, so I think it would be a good idea if people get a sense of what goes on in your studio. I have a caveat. You always see a little video of me and a comment somebody made. Okay? But I'm going to share the screen, and Cindy, you'll probably chat a bit about what we're
Sure,
seeing.
yes.
Okay? So, Cindy, I think people need to understand what Mussio's pattern training is about. So we are sharing our screen, and this is Cindy's Facebook page, okay? And I'm going to go through very slowly. And Cindy, it is all public, and your clients have given you permission to put these here.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this for you to just give a sense. I think we will see ourselves as we go through this, and to just give a sense of what is happening. And you all will see the dreaded TRX month. Okay. So as we go down the screen, Cindy, what's going on here?
Okay, this is also functional training with some weight. My client is holding a 10-pound slam ball. So he is holding some weight up there. He has to lift and hold his abdominals in place, and he's fluttering his legs. So upper and lower abs are working.
That looking easy. But a lighter weight or lighter ball.
And he looks like us. Yes.
Right. This is functional training. Everything you're going to see is functional training. This is on the TRX band. It's a squat with a hammer curl.
Yes. Helping to build the legs and the hips.
Also challenging your balance.
Yes.
This is a client of mine. She has been on my 3 months program with me. And this is the progress that she has made.
That's great.
In 3 months. This is on over 60. And this is where I'm correcting her form. She's transitioning from a plank into a pike. A lot of core work here. And you can see she's over 60. And look at her arms. Her triceps are really banging. She's really happy about that.
I'm not sure about that for me. Okay. Right,
same thing. This is this is for balance and hip mobility. So we are opening up the hips here. We are stretching, and he's working on his balance, of course.
I like that one.
And remember, everybody gets here. Everybody gets here. You don't start here. Yes.
Balance again. This is really challenging. It's a TRX burpee, but a variation to it. I gave it to her so that her body can feel out the actual movement. She is unable to do it, but I took her down in parts so she can feel it out and see, how strong she has gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's just me taking a little ride.
Yeah.
So you also have to do spinning.
I also train myself.
Spin. Bye.
Yes. Yes. This is a spin video. These two girls, spin can be challenging, but you can start anyway. Everybody starts somewhere.
It's very easy on the joints.
Yes, it's a low impact exercise. This is Carrie-Anne on 2 bands, full suspension. She's not touching the floor at all. Total core engagement. Really phenomenal. And knee to elbow. She's doing some crunches there.
That's very good. That's very good.
It is. It takes a lot of strength. I challenged her that day because I want to show her how strong she has gotten.
And you have to see the collapse. The collapse is important.
You did not collapse. You came down in a very controlled manner.
But you did. You push yourself and you could do it again.
Yes.
And
After
it's
she
this
told me she
comment,
couldn't.
it is this comment that is, I feel in shame because not Tanti being more than double my age. I've been called Tanti.
She's impressed. She's impressed.
I think this is another Terrian here.
Yes. It's a reverse lunge into a kick.
But Terrian, you're showing off here, man.
Cindy chose to put them there.
Again, balance, mobility, flexibility.
And here people are working in pairs.
Right. So this is actually single band. This is less challenging than what Terrian just did on 2-band.
I like this. I will do this one. Not
Cindy will get you up anyway. Good.
Right. That's just a little side oblique action going on there.
And this is Cindy posing. And this is another couple doing.
Yes, they are planking. They're doing a decline plank. A lot of emphasis on the shoulder, a lot of core strength, shoulder strength.
Now,
You
I will
actually
say
have
that these look challenging and people may
They are.
think
This
like,
one is in particular because you have to hold your legs from swinging out.
she didn't give me this to do yet. So, but the thing about it is that it's not impossible. You know, you might look at it and think that is really, really impossible. What's going on here, Cindy?
Yeah, she
That's
is
your plan
actually,
to just saw.
yes. She's actually doing way better. This was when she just started. Yes. So yes, it can be. This is exactly. She's a good example of, you know, how clients will come to me, and you are a fabulous example of how you can get.
I'm not even showing this one. Why you put so
No,
many
it's a really
videos
good
of me
bicep
here?
curl. You're doing isolation here by bicep curls using a barbell. Very good form. You're very strong, you know.
Yeah, right. Yes.
good thing I didn't go with you, Terrian.
No, you're
This
going
is
your
this
own.
one is challenging. This is a pendulum with a side crunch.
I ain't reached there yet.
Yeah. Terrian, you have done that. You have.
Cindy.
And I have, yes.
This is what the TRX.
This apparatus is the TRX.
The TRX suspension training, yes.
But you will use the apparatus.
Yes.
Yes, I do. I do.
And
Because
Cindy-
I start,
Mhm.
yeah, I start working with your foundation, and it's a very, you know, phenomenal piece of equipment in that it gives you the assistance you need to eventually hold your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Cindy,
Yeah,
here
right.
you're working with your 97-year-old.
Yes.
Showing it's important for us if we don't build those muscles. That's how we
Yes.
end up in the wheelchair
Right.
with bed sores
Yes, correct. Correct.
and can't feed ourselves, can't go to the bathroom, function. We can't function in life.
He was still able at 97 to do all of that himself.
Yeah. You know, as you said, whether it's arthritis, rheumatoid, this is her 97-year-old client.
You're looking real good.
Yeah. And what is this person doing?
Oh, she's doing, she's sitting up. She's doing a sit-up. She's using some weights.
5 more, let's go.
Yeah. Good. I think we've gotten a good sense, Cindy, of what the
Yes.
functional training is and does for us. Jen, as you look at that, what are your impressions?
I like the challenge. When I should say, I like the idea of using the apparatus. You know why? From what I'm seeing, especially when you now start and I can see, you can hold, like, let me refer to the gentleman with the bowl. I know it's weight, but of course I would expect she has different weights, right? But I like the idea that you still feel supported. So I wouldn't fall. You know, our the seniors tend to fear falling. So, and the balance is so important for your own balance. I think my focus will be on balance
Yeah.
Jennifer,
because we
yeah, my system is designed to prevent injury and to help strengthen you. You are not left, to yourself on your own. I am there with you neck on neck. I like to work with my clients one-on-one. And I also, and you would have noticed a variety of different things happening. And that's because each person have their strengths and their weaknesses. And I will customize your program based on what you need.
yeah.
That will determine, the type of work I will do for you.
You know, earlier I spoke to you about online,
Yeah,
but we see the benefit of coming into the studio because you need to use the practice. If I'm home, even if I have some of those things, I prefer being in a studio with a coach there with me, you know, letting me know if I pulling down right, if I
of course.
stretching, that sort of thing. I
Of
think
course.
I mean, that's beautiful. Those, and it's encouraging,
Thank
especially
you.
the 7-year-old passing the little weight under the legs. I could see.
Don't be 70 and can't pass up 3 pound weight under your leg. Because that means you can't lift a bag of sugar. You can't lift a bag of peas.
Correct.
Yes, watching on, but he's saying, "Oh gosh, I can't even do that."
Yeah.
But we have to start. We have to start somewhere, and it's possible.
And
Yeah.
the thing about it is that we know, Cindy, that most of our viewers may not be able to reach you, but it is really building the awareness because we could be very caught up with the surface. We could look great, we could dress great, we could smell great, eating great, but we can't go up 10 steps. We can't, if something
Correct.
falls down, we can't react. Even if we are falling, we don't have the body strength to hold on and stop ourselves. And if we do try to do that, we injure ourselves.
Yes.
So it was very, very important for us to talk about the importance and that we should, and I think the most important thing is for us to go to a place that respects your age.
Yes.
If
Correct.
you go into a gym and it's just iron and weights and if you're good with that, you're good with that. But the issue of functional training, as we said before, Cindy, is about making sure your muscles are functional and can carry you day to day. And
Yes.
that's that enough. And I think that's what your purpose is.
Yes.
Yeah. So Cindy, this was excellent. Jennifer, have any other closing words for Cindy?
I'm gonna call her definitely. I love what I like the idea of having her as a personal coach to design a program that's suited to me. Each of us, as you mentioned, you may be rheumatoid, you may be just coming out of some sort of surgery. We all at this stage in life, have different type of challenges. And I think it is a fact that it's easy for us to be fearful that we will damage ourselves if we do certain things. And to have someone with the experience, the expertise like Cindy to guide us along, definitely, I think is very encouraging. And I'm sure there are ways, if Cindy will put up the number, of course, to contact you.
Well, we have all her socials and stuff there.
To still have to do some of the exercises,
Yeah. And I would say for myself, and she always, when I went, she got a list of rules. I will say, as I said to her, I am really not here to look better. I love how I look. I really do. I think nothing wrong with me. I think I'm fantastic. And I said, I want to make sure that this body can continue to carry me. And that was the brief that I gave to her. It's not that I want to lose 20 pounds or I want to get, I have a trap now, but but and she was very true to that, building gradually, adding on and surprising me as we go along. And I think that is something that we have to be aware of. If not with Cindy, then find someone who can work with you to make sure that your body can continue to carry you into ripe old age. I want to be putting a 5 pound under my leg when I'm 97, not a 3 pound.
Correct.
Full Monday and Tuesday, whole day without leaving the bathroom.
Definitely. So, Cindy, I hope you enjoyed chatting with us. And
Of course, yes. Of
You
course,
know?
it was really a pleasure.
And as I said, we have all of your socials are there, and I'm sure we may have some curious members who may want to just call you to ask a question.
Of course, yes, call me. Let's have a chat.
Yes, yes.
If you want to just chat, that's fine. I'm happy to give you some guidance. You know, I am happy to educate my people. You know, you can never know enough.
Yes.
You know, the more you know, the better you are able to, you know, move forward.
Great, great. Thank you so very much, Cindy. I think we're getting ready for Carnival really. We talked to Frank about Kaiso and somewhere to go. Last week, Jennifer and Richard showed people how they could take their old clothes and make 15 new outfits. And now we could go, the body could carry us through according to Jennifer, Monday, Tuesday, all the shows.
Definitely to start.
Okay, Cindy, thank you again. Jennifer, you ready to go beyond walking?
Yes, because I think, as I said before, I will go in the gym, I'll do weights, I'll do different things. But since the surgery, I'm very hesitant. And I mean, I did chat with the doctor, but they are not, I mean, they are not fitness coaches. They're on the medical side, they will let you know, and they understand about keeping fit. So I really listen to Cindy. I see how important it is. For me personally, I believe in having a coach. I believe in that guidance, especially at this age. I don't want to do anything to, you know, or do something that will hinder me and make it worse. Next thing I can't move my hand or my feet.
And Jennifer, so, you know what happens? We could look this up. It is measured. A 9-day hospital stay could make you lose 20% of your muscle functionality in your core, leg, thigh, and back and abdominal muscles. You will come out of a hospital more disabled than when you went in. And the same happens if something happens up and we stop using a muscle. Like even if we just sitting down more, watching TV, we're not going outside, a simple act of gardening. You know how much squatting, lifting, and reaching and stretching you do? If we don't use our muscles, we will lose them. Definitely. It's called sarcopenia. Look it up.
One thing sure too, Terrian, it helps with your brain, your thinking, how you think, your decision making. You're not feeling flustered, your mind clear. I always tell you, walking for me helps. It clears my mind. You know, while I walk, I could think of certain things. I could make decisions. Yeah. So
and Jennifer, the physiological reason is because the muscles are more tuned. It's like you tune an engine. And therefore, the blood vessels are more tuned, so the oxygen is going to the cells being fed more. And that is why you think better and you're more energetic and you're more alert. It's because you're taking care of your body. And when you don't, you really end up like a sack of potatoes in a chair. You could just roll around the place. And that is where bad aging starts.
What you said to Terry, and it's so true. It's not about losing weight. It's not about being a size or having smaller weight or your stomach fat. No, it is not about that. At this stage, what we're looking at is a healthy lifestyle, you know?
If I'm 98 and I want to go and walk around and look at my plants, I might have my little stick to keep my balance going, but I don't want to have to wait for somebody to come for me to even walk to the porch. And not taking care of your muscles and your bones does that. It also it stops you from taking care of your lungs. You can't breathe efficiently. You're not exercising your heart. It can't pump effectively. And then you get all kind of lower extremity swelling and this happening and that happening and bad aging. So this show is really to tell you, take care of your muscles. If you don't do that, it makes no sense dressing up and it makes no sense presenting yourself anywhere.
You have clothes, you're looking good, but you can't go anywhere.
And you're too like a bag.
You can't go out and enjoy yourself.
So we look forward to seeing you all again next week, where we will have another fantastic session where we will talk about how we make sure we get to be putting our 8-pound weight under our leg at 98 and 99. So bye.
50 Plus Tribe and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.